Okay, this is a guitar lesson series I will be doing for my cousin. We live a pretty good distance apart and I can't be with him throughout the week, so I figured I would make some YouTube videos to help him. So anyone else can watch these too. I hope to help as many people as I can with these. So first thing I guess we'll go over is basically the most simple: how to hold your guitar pick. As you can see, this is a guitar pick. What you want to do is you want to hold it with your thumb and your forefinger. Okay, you want to make your thumb parallel with the guitar, so like this. Okay, as you can see, and you want to you can take your index finger and sort of make an angle straight down the guitar pick with it, and you want the pick angle. You don't want to have too much on left on the end because you won't be able to play well, and you don't want to have too little like that. You don't want to have too much like that. So just the right amount, right about like that. You can also close your hand. I find that's irritating because your pinky and stuff gets in the way of the strings. You can mute them. So I leave my hand open so I can do a lot more with it. So that's about it for a pick. We'll go over the strings. The strings have a number system from the bottom to the top. They're numbered 1 from the high E, 2 the B, 3 the G, 4 the D, 5 the A, and 6 the low E. They're numbered upside down. So the top one is your 6th one and the bottom one is your 1st one. Now again, from bottom to top, these are high E, your B, G, your D, your A, and your low E, which is an octave of your high E. Okay, I guess that's cool. I'm looking at my notes here. I'm going to use tabs throughout this video, so in these lessons. So if you don't know how to read a tab, I'll tell you. I'll put annotations on the screen. A tab is basically 6 lines numbered from top to bottom, high E being the top and low E being the bottom. It's basically if you turn your guitar upside down, the high E being the top and the low E being the bottom. I will have the letters high E at the top, which is lowercase e, all the way down to your low E, which is the bottom, which will be an uppercase E. And the number that is on the tab is the fret that you play on that string. So if I put 3 on the E string like this tab, you'll play 3 on the E string. If I put 6 on the D string, you'll play 6 on the D string. Okay, now, so let's get started. We're going to go over 5 basic major chords today. They're the most common, in my case at least. First, we'll start out with the G, I believe. Oh, also on the tabs, if there's an X on the string, that means you either mute the string, which is put your finger over it very lightly so you can't play it, or you don't play the string. So that's an important thing to know. And a 0 is open. So if you see 0 on the E, the low E is just an open string. We're going to go over 5 major chords today, sorry. These are G, C, D, E, and A. Okay. There's many ways to play each chord, even in the major key, so we'll go over more later. But in this video, we're just going to go over turning pages, one way to play each chord. Okay. First, I should probably go over how to fret a note properly. You don't need very much force to fret a note properly, but you don't need too little or it'll sound out muted like this. You want just the right amount, so it should sound like this on the 3rd on the E. You don't want too much because there's a gap between the top of your fret and your fretboard, and that allows it to bend and become out of tune. It's very little, but you can still notice it. So normally it sounds like this. Pressing too hard sounds like this. There's a difference. You don't want too light because it's muted. You don't want a definition, or an example between just enough and too light would be sort of like this. and you don't want that. That mutes the string slowly over time, and it sounds crap. So you want just enough to make it ring clearly. Okay, so let's get started with the G, which is middle finger on the 3rd fret of the low E. There will be tab on the screen, by the way. So, middle finger, 3rd fret, 1, 2, 3, on the low E, which is the top string, the 6th string, top string. Then it will be just like that. Then it will be your index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, which is your 5th, right below your E. So we've got. Then you will take your ring finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the high E. Okay, and it should look like this all together. So 3rd fret, low E, 2nd fret A, 3rd fret high E. It should sound like this. Okay, and you want to angle your fingers directly inward towards the guitar, so that your fingers are only touching that one string. So you can get if you pick all 6 strings individually, it should sound like this. Okay, you don't want to lay it flat because you'll get muted. So a good way to practice these chords is to play one string at a time until you get it perfect. Okay, the next one is C, which is ring finger of the 3rd fret of the A string, which is your 5th string. Middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, which is your 4th string, and your index finger on the 1st fret of the B string, which should sound like this. And you do not play your low E, so there should be an X over the low E right now on the tab. So it should be 3rd with the ring on the A, 2nd with the middle on the D, and 1st with the index on the B. You play every string except the low E. The next one we'll go over is D, which is index finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, which is that. Middle finger on the 2nd fret of the high E, and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B. And you can play either from the D all the way to the high E, or from the A to the high E. So it should sound like this. That's from the D to the high E, and from the A to the high E it should sound like this. And again, in this chord, you do not play your low E, so there should be an X over your low E. So again, that is 2nd with the index, 2nd with the middle, and 3rd with the ring. So it'd be 2nd on the G, 2nd on the the E, sorry, and then 3rd on the B. Okay, now we're going to go over the E chord, which is a very beautiful sounding chord, which is used in a bunch of country and rock, but rock is power chords. We'll get to that later. This is your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, your ring finger on the 2nd fret of your D string, and your index finger on the 1st fret of your G string. You play all 6 strings this time, so from the E to the E. Again, this is 2nd fret of the A, 2nd fret of the D, and 1st fret of the G. Okay, and the last chord is A, which is sounds like this, and it is all 2nd frets. In the notes you fret, so it should be pretty easy to remember. So it's the chord that's all 2nd notes. It is the index finger on the 2nd fret of the D, your ring finger, on the 2nd fret of the G, and your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the B. And look, it's very uncomfortable to play once you can tell you get used to it, so it's going to be a difficult chord. And you play every string except your low E, so it should sound like this. And I believe that's all I'm going to do this lesson. So it's G, C, D, E, and A. Now remember, to review, your high E is your bottom string, your first string. Your B is your second string. G is third. D is fourth. Fifth is A. So your fifth is your A, and your sixth is your low E. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. E, B, G, D, A, and low E. And that's it for this lesson. I hope you learned something. If you need me to slow down, I will, but I don't want this video to run too long. So, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something.